The New York Islanders have made a sneaky good signing, acquiring a young college free agent, and this signing is going to have major implications down the road as piece by piece, the Islanders are really starting to put together a strong prospect pool. We're going to be really breaking that down on this episode of Islanders Digest, but before we do that, be sure to subscribe and be one of the first 100 subscribers on this channel. We've just hit 25 subscribers, so we're 25% of the way towards our goal of hitting our first 100 subscribers. So if you're an Islander fan and you want more Islanders content, this is the channel for you. Be sure to subscribe. With that, let's get right into today's news. And during the big Montreal game for the Islanders, a big win which put the Islanders 1 point out of the playoffs, we got news that the Islanders have signed Gleb Veremyev to a 2-year entry-level contract beginning next year. And this is really good news for the Islanders. Gleb Veremyev is the second highest rated prospect, at least coming out of college, who was unsigned. Every year, these college players do have the opportunity to sign with NHL teams when they are undrafted, or if they go through the entire college program, they have a chance to become a free agent. He was undrafted, and this was a big opportunity for the New York Islanders to acquire a player who can definitely provide them value in the future. We're going to talk a little bit about Veremyev and why I think he can be a quality NHLer. And the big thing that stands out right away is his size. He is 6'4", over 200 pounds. He's already really filled out his frame, only 21 years old. And this is also a guy who is from New Jersey, so he's from the area. Definitely a big reason why he signed with the Islanders. But in general, the Islanders have been doing a really good job at finding ways to acquire young players. And yes, they have not been drafting as much in recent years. That is going to change as they have 3 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Even if they don't use all those picks, they're definitely going to be picking some more young players. But beyond that, they've found ways to really take advantage of the other way of acquiring young players, and that is through free agency, whether it be through college or whether it be through young players in Russia who are unsigned, undrafted by the NHL. Look at a great example of that is Sipaklov. The Islanders had done a great job acquiring these players, convincing them to come to the New York Islanders, and that is not an easy thing to do because in these cases you have 32 teams often that are interested in these players. And a big thing about these college free agents and these KHL undrafted free agents is they can go to any team, and you really, since it's an entry-level contract, you can't really outbid another team. So it's really all based on you just showing your vision for the future of the team to that player. And it's a great sign that the Islanders were able to get Veremyev. He is, again, according to most scouts, the second highest ranked player on this list. A really strong center, and this is a guy who wins a lot of faceoffs. He plays very physical, especially considering his size. Good signing. So you can see in his 3 years playing for Colorado College, the past 2 seasons, last year he had in 37 games played he had 28 points. This year he did take a step back. They had some more talent on center, so I think he was playing a little more down the lineup, playing more a third line role. Still had 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points. And let me tell you, this is not going to be a player who's going to play on the first line or even the second line. He's going to be a bottom 6 player, but with his size and the way he plays physical, he can definitely be a difference maker for the New York Islanders. And I think Islander fans understand better than any fans how important bottom 6 players can be. I mean, look back in the day when Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck were playing their best hockey, how effective they were for the Islanders. They were so physical, and they really helped them bring energy into every single game. This is definitely the type of player who can do that, and the fact that he is so strong on the faceoff is another encouraging sign that this guy plays the right type of hockey you want. And while the Islanders have struggled to inject top-end talent into their lineup, they have done a really good job over the past few seasons of finding third and fourth liners. They're really doing a good job at finding a younger bottom 6. And as much as people want to see the flashy guys in the top 6, and with other prospects like Kalen Ritchie and Cole Eiserman, that's going to come. But people forget how important those bottom 6 roles are, and the Islanders are doing a great job setting up to inject youth into that bottom 6 of their lineup. Now, Veremyev is not going to play next season. He did sign a 2-year entry-level contract. Next year, he's definitely going to be playing in the AHL, trying to get some more seasoning. And honestly, this is for the best, not just for the player, but also for the Islanders AHL team. You don't really need to look that far to see the Islanders AHL squad is seriously struggling. They are the worst AHL team. They've been the worst AHL team for the past few seasons. And signing guys like this who can bring youth into that and really improve the Islanders prospect pool is important, and this can definitely help that going forward. We're going to talk about some of the other AHL prospects for the Islanders in this video, but first I also want to talk about another prospect for the Islanders, one of their top goalie prospects, Dmitry Gamzin. There was a report earlier this week that he has signed a 2-year extension with his club, CSKA Hockey in the KHL. That, if you remember, is the club that Ilya Sorokin played with, and a lot of people were overreacting to this, I believe. It's not really a surprise that Gamzin is staying in the KHL. Honestly, it makes perfect sense for him to stay in the KHL. Right now, he can earn more money in the KHL than he would earn in the AHL. And in addition, the KHL just offers a better opportunity for him to play high-level hockey than the AHL because, again, like I mentioned before, the Islanders AHL team is really rough. And while Gamzin is a very good goaltender prospect, I don't think he helps that much. I think it's better for him to play in the KHL. And as we've seen with a lot of these guys, Ilya Sorokin, Igor Shesterkin, they usually come to the NHL around their 23, 24, 25 seasons. Right now, Gamzin is only 21 years old, so there's really not much concern that he is staying in the KHL for 2 more seasons. I'd expect after those 2 years, he will come to the Islanders and try to make the NHL club, likely backing up Ilya Sorokin. And there is definitely a lot to be excited about when that happens. Again, he's 21 years old, definitely looking like an early steal from the previous draft. If you look here, they drafted him in the 4th round in 2024, and the sample size in 2024 was a little small. I mean, you did have games in lower levels, but for the in terms of the KHL production, we really only got to see him play 13 games. He had a .930 save percentage, which when I saw that and we drafted him, I was like, this is a steal. But then again, a 13-game sample size is nothing. However, in the following years, now it's 2 years in a row, he's now played 24 games. He has a .928 save percentage this season, and that's good enough for 4th place in the KHL. Really solid production. I would really like to see him now that he's signed a 2-year extension, and this typically happens with the KHL. They typically don't play players a lot until they get confirmation that they're going to be staying in the KHL longer. I would really like to see him play more of a full season next season to really see him develop more as a goaltender, but in this sample size, really looking excited for him. And if he keeps on playing like this, there's a really good chance that he will try to make it in the KHL. Typically, when these guys think they do have a chance to compete for an NHL roster spot, they normally do so. And yeah, I'm not too concerned about Gamzin going to the KHL. The same way I was not too concerned about other players in the Islanders system going to play in the KHL. Now, I do want to talk about some of the other prospects in the Islanders system. Calen Ritchie and Cole Eiserman are 2 of the top prospects for the Islanders. This is the Elite Prospects ranking. It's just kind of a ranking of all the Islanders assets that are not in the NHL, so that's why it's ranked a little funny. Some of these players really aren't top prospects. The 2 big prospects are Ritchie and Cole Eiserman, and they're really looking good and really looking like they're going to complement their play. Ritchie being a really strong playmaker who I think can play in the NHL next season. Cole Eiserman just had a huge year in Boston at the college level, scoring over 20 goals, the first freshman to do that since Jack Eichel on his squad. And he's looking like a really strong goal scorer. There are a lot of nitpickers here right now talking about Cole Eiserman, calling him a one-dimensional player. And you know what? Watching him play, I don't think he's quite a one-dimensional player. I will say he does not have a well-rounded game yet. That being said, he's still only 18 years old. He has a lot of time. And the one thing I think people are kind of glossing over is that one dimension that he has is elite goal scoring. He has an elite one-timer. He has elite vision with the puck, an elite shot. This is a guy who scores goals also in big games. He scored a big goal to kind of try to advance the Terriers season a little further. At the end of the day, they did lose in the semifinals for college. That being said, this is a guy who's scoring big goals. He's scoring them for Team USA. And you know what? If Cole Eiserman is the type of player, as right now, a big knock on him is they're calling him a kind of Patrick Laine type player. or at least the Patrick Laine that is we have now in the NHL, where he scores a lot of goals in the power play, but other than that, he's kind of invisible. And you know what? If that's who Cole Yzerman is, that's still an important player. The Islanders need a power play scorer. They can't find any goals on the power play. I know last night against Montreal, they did have 2 big goals, but in general, they're really struggling on their power play. So even if that is what Cole Yzerman is, that's going to be a huge get for the Islanders. That being said, I don't think that's going to be the end for Cole Yzerman. I think there is definitely still room for him to grow. And the big reason why is when you watch Cole Yzerman, while he does struggle a bit offensively so far, 5-on-5, he is producing something because he's playing really physical and adding to that forecheck. I think this is a player who can definitely learn to have a more well-rounded game. Other players you got to look at in the Islanders system, we have a couple interesting players. Quinn Finley is another player in college who is definitely looking exciting. Danny Nelson is another player you're going to want to pay attention. He might have a shot at playing in the NHL next season if the Islanders do decide to have him come out of college. We'll see what happens there, but a lot to look forward to in this Islanders system. A couple of years ago, we were talking about this system being one of the worst prospect systems in the entire NHL. Now it's looking a lot more deeper. Not just because you have high-end guys such as Cole Yzerman and Caleb Ritchie, but you also have some depth guys who can be playing on your bottom 2 lines in as soon as next season, honestly, for guys like Danny Nelson, for guys like Veremyev. Is going to take another year, but these guys are coming, and this is definitely really encouraging for the New York Islanders. Fans have wanted a youth movement for a long time, and slowly, piece by piece, it's looking like that is going to happen. Let me know in the comments what you think about this signing and what you think about the Islanders prospect pool as a whole. I would love to know your thoughts. As always, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's go Islanders.